You can't argue that Los Angeles is one of the food capitals of the United States. Among all this wonderful food, one dish has risen to iconic status. It's a dish that has been sparking a citywide and national craze. Birria. Beef birria, to be exact. For the past few years, beef birria has sparked a culinary frenzy, inspiring enthusiasts everywhere to create their own unique interpretation.
Taco Bell has birria. Let's get to the bottom of it. Feels nice and crunchy.
Jay, we've got a new little Costco item for you. It is the Don Lee Farms Crispy Beef Birria Tacos. It was busting, y'all.
Inside we got some more cheese, some kind of sauce there.
Beer ramen.
Beef birria has become a culinary phenomenon in LA.
A birria taco is a type of meat that has been in a broth for many hours.
It's the perfect blend of tradition and innovation.
Mexican and Asian reunite.
Satisfying cravings and igniting a passion for authentic Mexican cuisine. A few years ago, a culinary revolution swept through the streets of LA, sparked by two humble taco trucks and their irresistible creation, beef birria. At Birreria La Única, the quesabirria tacos became an overnight sensation with their melty cheese, tender beef, and crispy tortillas. It won the hearts and palates of Angelinos. Even celebrity chef Guy Fieri couldn't resist the allure of beef birria in LA.
What's the number one thing on the menu?
Quesatacos, crunchy tacos with cheese.
That's all me right there.
His visit to Birreria La Única spotlighted the birria craze, attracting even more attention to the dish. What's so unique about this taco? It has a nice little light crunch on the outside, and then you get into the cheese and then the juicy birria. Perfection.
Ahora ya fue la quinta vez que le hemos hecho
But across town, another taco truck was making waves with his own take on beef birria. Teddy's Red Taco Truck brought the flavors of Tijuana to the streets of LA, earning a loyal following with his Tijuana-style birria tacos. Some say Teddy's the one that started the craze in LA. Teddy's Red Taco Truck quickly gained a reputation for its bold flavors and authentic approach to birria, catching nationwide attention with a Super Bowl ad.
Este es Teddy.
Y estos son sus famosos tacos rojos de birria en las vías del tren.
Thanks to the passion and innovation of taco trucks like Birria La Única and Teddy's Red Tacos, Beef Birria became more than just a food trend. It became a culture phenomenon, uniting people from all walks of life in their love for this delicious dish. But how did this beloved dish find its way to the streets of LA? To answer that question, we must journey back in time to the humble beginnings of two pioneering families. This is Raúl. Raúl runs Chalios in LA. He's a second-generation birriero. This is Luz and Richard. They run and operate Birrieria Jalisco. They're also second-generation birrieros.
My name is Raúl Luis, and I am an owner of Chalio's restaurant.
My name is Luz Gonzalez.
Hi, my name is Ricardo Gonzalez.
And we are the owners of Birria Jalisco.
If you don't know, birria was originally made for special occasions, only served on special occasions, weddings, baptisms.
Some people have gone to go eat birria at weddings or at quinceañeras.
They have bad experiences.
And they've had that, it's the worst birria. And they think birria is the same way.
If you had birria back then, you knew that it was a very special occasion.
You have to know how to prepare it, because if you don't know how to prepare it, it can go so wrong.
What the food does to us is when you have those special parties.
She was all excited. She's all, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, hi.
There's special memories, and that's what everybody brings back, because there's special times, happy times, and people are eating it and they love the food.
She walks in all happy, all like, you know, looking up at our menu, and she's doing this, right? And I'm like, can I help you? She goes, you sell birria, right? I go, yes.
We only had 3 food items: birria, menudo, and tacos de cabeza. We didn't even have a menu. When the customer would come in, we would tell them verbally what it was that was on the menu.
And she's like, but I don't see the ramen. Where's the ramen?
We had different employees from different regions in Mexico that during their breaks, they would cook their own food. They would share their meal with us. And we would say, wow, this is really good. Why don't we add this to our menu? Our menu began expanding.
I was trying to be really calm. Yes, we do. We serve birria, but the authentic style, the way it should be served in a plate. And I told her, and ready to have your head exploded, it's goat meat.
Even though beef birria is popular now, real birria is made from goat.
10 years back, when you would say that, all the non-Hispanics, you would tell them and they'd be like, birria? What is that, birria?
But we were the first birria restaurants in LA.
Now, you tell them, oh, yeah. And they're all excited. Oh, you have ramen and you have, no, I don't have that.
But you know what? We were the first birreria in the United States.
I can proudly say and guarantee that my father, Bonifacio Gonzalez, opened the first true birreria
in LA.
Now look, we can debate all day about who was first, but if you never tried birria, like real birria, the one made from goat, I recommend you trying it. And I recommend you trying it from these 2 LA institutions. Actually, it's really easy. They're about 5 miles away from each other.
There's a birreria a few miles away from here, and there are our competition.
It's sad to say no, I haven't been to the restaurant to go eat.
If you're the only one, you're the monopoly, you'll do whatever you want. But when you have competition, you got to be on your toes. You got to be always ready to, step up your game to make sure you don't drop the ball.
I think about it now and I think, why? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, it's just, I guess, back in the day, there was a lot of, I guess, two sides. It's like either you're here or you're there. And we feel that to us, you know, we had to be at this side.
It was like it wasn't a competition, so to speak, but we were aware of each other. Like a dog, when a dog's pacing and walking around, but they don't want to fight. They're just going in circles, but we know we're aware of each other, and we have to keep our game up. You know, that was our checking point. We checked ourselves that way.
That's just how it was. It's not a rivalry, but it just felt like, who's better, you know? I felt like if they would see us over there, then they would say, oh, see, we told you. So if they come over here, they would say, oh, see, we told you. So, you know, so I feel that that's maybe a reason why, but I think about it now and I'm like, wow, that's kind of dumb, but that's how things were. Having
both of us on the same street in two different cities and never having either of us cross the line and try to one another, I think that's kind of fascinating. And I think there's a certain type of probably mutual respect for one another. Haven't had the opportunity to step into our competition's place over on a few miles away from here, but one of these days we might be able to do so.
Maybe, just maybe someday, these two families can try each other's birria. In the heart of Guadalajara, Mexico, lies the birthplace of an iconic dish. Deeply rooted in tradition, goat birria.
En Cocula se dice es donde nació este platillo de la birria, en Cocula, Jalisco. Yo creo que es uno de los platillos más emblemáticos para nosotros, porque ahí es cuando se juntan los dos mundos. Cuando llegan los españoles con el tema de la conquista, nos enseñan a domesticar animales, entre ellos el chivo, y aquí es cuando se mezcla con nuestros adobos, nuestros achiotes. Entonces yo creo que es un sentido de pertenencia que tenemos todos los mexicanos para con la birria. Y después se popularizó cuando llega a Guadalajara, y una vez que hay un equipo llamado las Chivas de Guadalajara.
La pelota con cuidado que vino Marcelo. Omar que vino por el primero gol.
Pues entonces se asocia con el platillo y se populariza en todo el estado. Entonces creo que hay mucho arraigo aquí en todos los tapatíos con la birria.
Passed down through generations. The method of crafting this dish is cherished culinary heritage. Luz and Richard's father, Don Boni, was born in 1911. He started making birria with his uncle at a place known as Las Nueve Esquinas. It's nestled in the bustling streets of Guadalajara. The father honed his craft, perfecting the art of birria preparation. Today, in this rustic kitchen, the tender goat meat is carefully seasoned with a blend of aromatic spices and hand-cut to order. Each batch of goat birria is a labor of love, a testament to the dedication to preserving tradition.
All this started in Guadalajara in Las Nueve Esquinas. Birria Jalisco was founded by Bonifacio Gonzalez, our father, and it was established in 1972 in Los Angeles, California.
He did not have a father. He had an uncle that took him in as his son and showed him how to make the birria. Mm-hmm. The original recipe was passed on from his uncle, still the original recipe of the way birria should be prepared, Guadalajara style.
So, you know, he learned the trade, and his uncle gave him that recipe that he told him to hold on to because, you know, it could be something that he can use in the future.
In the early 50s, when he came looking for work like every other migrant, that's where his dream of one day opening up a restaurant in the States, simply because
the sacrifices he made to come to the United States and to work here.
He saw that there was nothing like that available, and he felt that one day he can bring something authentic and delicious to the people that are living over here. People that have been here and miss what home is like, to bring a little bit of home here to them.
He worked as a bracero, which, he worked in the fields. He also worked in construction. So he worked here and then he would go back to Tijuana or Guadalajara. He was doing a lot of things in between. But as far as we know from what the story or our dad's, sharing his story with us, is that he always had a dream and his vision was to one day open up his own restaurant. What's amazing about our dad's journey is that when most people are looking to retire, hang up their, working whatever shirt, our dad was just getting started. Our dad opened up the restaurant in 1972. He was born in 1911. Just do the math.
61.
And to literally have this dream vision come alive. I mean, that's amazing for somebody that came from Mexico, that didn't speak English, didn't read English, didn't write English. I mean, and he was able to do it. He focused on the purpose, on the vision. He wasn't gonna let anything get in the way. He knew he had something to share, that experience of the birria.
Well, a lot of people did not know what birria was. The only people that knew that were the labor, the workers, the construction people. They're the ones that were looking for something that my dad was offering. Yeah, you probably get some birria on the weekends or at a wedding or at a quinceañera. My dad's idea was, what if I wake up on a Tuesday morning and I want birria? So I gotta wait till Saturday or till someone gets married. He goes, no, I want to wake up on a Tuesday and have birria in the morning. And that was his vision. He wanted to offer something to the average person to come and just enjoy something and so they can remember.
A taste of home.
Of home, yes. A taste of home.
We would hear that my father always would talk about one day having a restaurant. He would buy like a certain pot and then he would go put it away in the basement. He was like little by little building his dream, however he did it.
What I remember a lot when we were kids growing up, I was 5, but I can still vaguely remember not really seeing my dad so much because he would work so much to try save money, to try to open up that business. We're so grateful that for what he did and what he's done and what he's left us. But I think what I miss the most, is not having, just having him around. I mean, I knew what he was doing. We knew what
he was working. He was working.
We knew what he was doing and what his purpose was. We understood that. But it was so hard for us because, we didn't have our father.
I think like for my brothers, there were the boys, and of course if they were in sports, my dad wasn't there. My dad couldn't go to the baseball games or the basketball games or those games, to be there like the other parents were. Because why? Because he was sacrificing. He was hard at work. He was, trying to build this dream and provide his family a better life.
As the debate over birria's origins continues, one thing is clear. Both families played a significant role in shaping the culinary landscape of Los Angeles. Anyone that's ever worked in a restaurant can tell you, it takes a whole lot of passion and a whole lot of sacrifice.
One of the memories that I have, or there's so many, but one that really stands out for me is when he put me to the test in the kitchen. He said, son, I've shown you, I've taught you, now it's your turn. I'm gonna be a customer. You make it, you're gonna serve me. And if I approve, then you'll get that golden star. Serve them the plate. I ran behind the kitchen and just peeking out, looking at him. And he was looking at it, he was smelling it, he tried it. And then he started eating. And he stopped and he folded his arms. And I'm like, oh my God. He looked at me and he goes, bien hecho, bien hecho.
You got his approval. And that's why you continue. That's why we continue. And it's a big part with my dad's legacy.
Mi nombre es Raúl Lozano, yo me dedico a hacer birria. Tengo 25, 30 años haciendo birria. Y pues nuestra especialidad es pues, matar los chivos y arreglarlos. Ayer matamos estos para prepararlos para ahora, para que se nos estilen, y poderlos cortar bien y queda la carne más macicita. El peso para que esté bueno el chivito de 35, 40 kilos está el centavo. Ya de ahí para arriba también está bueno, pero ya está más macicito, pero sale bueno también. Bueno, hay 2, 3 leñas, es la de mezquite, la de huizache y la de encino, la de la sierra, esa también está buena. Le ponemos una tina con agua, una parrilla encima y ya las pencas. Le ponemos toda la carne que vamos a poner y ya le tapamos con penquitas.
Raúl's family is from Nochistlan, Zacatecas.
Our birria history starts 3 generations behind. The way the story was told to me by my father was that we used to cook birria for special occasions. It would be cooked underground. They would get these special cactus leaves and they would put the meat in there and fire underneath, and then they would wrap it up. And they would stick it underground and cover it up. 8 hours later, it would cook. Before the festivities would happen, the men would go out working into the fields while the ladies stood behind, and they would make salsas. They get these big metates, and they'd be crushing away, and they would make tortillas, make the salsas while the cooking process was taking place. It would take about 8 to 10 hours. The way it was eaten was they serve you the plate, you get your tortilla, you put the meat on the tortilla, then you would adorn like you would a taco. Now you put your cebolla, your cilantro, and your salsa encima, and then you would eat your taco. Well, there was an accident. As they were pulling out the pencas de maguey, they tilted it incorrectly, and the broth the juices from the meat spilled onto the salsa. When it spilled onto the salsa, there was a problem. What do? My great-grandma said, what are we gonna do? What we're gonna do is we're gonna serve it as a broth. So what they did is they took the meat, they put which was now broth, and put it in a plate and served it. People loved it. That's how our birria was founded. And like I said, we had influences from Jalisco. We're in Zacatecas, but with influences from Jalisco. Fast forward, my dad had a small little puesto in the mercado. Mercado is a little market, and different vendors would set up, kind of like you would get here at Central Markets and you serve all the different foods. When he was doing that, he had an idea, like many other immigrants, that the birria was sold only on the weekends and usually just for special occasions, so they had to ask you for it by special request.
Mi esposo se iba al campo a buscar chivos, a ver quién le vendía chivos. Y yo me quedaba en la casa a matar a aquel chivito que me dejaba mi esposo, lo mataba, lo preparaba, me ponía a hacer las tortillas y les encantó mucho a la gente.
He decided that he wanted to come into the United States to try to get some money so he can open up or build up his own house. There was a program back then in the 60s. It was the Bracero program. And as he was coming in, they were screening him, and if you guys know the story on the Bracero program, they would do certain things to them to make sure that they were clean, because they were coming in from Mexico and they wanted to ensure that they weren't bringing any diseases or stuff from Mexico. While he was trying to get into the United States, they started to separate all the braceros into different groups to decide what region in California they were going to go, what fruits they were going to pick. When they were doing that, they asked, does anybody here know how to cook? He said, oh, I'm a chef. I know how to make birria. So a chef there took him under his wing, and he began cooking for the different braceros in the different fields. As he made the birria, the chef saw his recipe, and he says, why don't you tweak your recipe? And he started adding other herbs and spices, and that's how our current recipe was born, with the assistance and help of a chef who I can't name because I don't know his name. LA was becoming a hub, and many immigrants come from Mexico to migrate here. They wanted to eat or taste the food that they had eaten back home. Didn't know at the time, or didn't realize that he had a special dish that was very traditional, very cultural for Mexico. Most of his friends knew that he was a birriero, so they would ask him on those special occasions, quinceañeras, wedding, baptism, if he would cook up that meal for them. You have to go back and realize that when these people had left their country, they left everything behind, and they wanted to grasp whatever they could to be able to bring back where they came from, and birria was that special dish. So he said, you know what, I'm gonna start selling birria on a regular basis on the weekends. So we started selling the food out of our house.
Chalio is no longer with us, but his wife tells us about how they started making birria in Los Angeles.
Se me llenaba la yarda bien llena de gente. Tenía yo bien muchas mesas ahí con la gente sirviéndoles.
He wanted to do it the way he did it back in Mexico. What he did, he just dug out a hole in the backyard of our house in East Los Angeles. We went around the different city, and we were taking the pencas and we're borrowing them. He rolled it up, put it underground. But what happened on that day was when he lit it up, the firemen came out because the neighbors thought there was a fire.
Salía el humo para arriba y se venían los bomberos.
Him being an immigrant, they didn't want any attention from any of the authorities, so he had to think of a different way. How can I cook it differently? So what he did, he started putting it in like this barrel type thing. He put 4 cylinders of blocks, and I remember those as a kid. I would have to move them and put them back. Some of them would stay up all night and be adding wood to the flames.
La olla donde estábamos cociendo la birria, mi esposo le puso a la olla una tapadera y luego le puso algo pesado arriba como una piedra. Cuando hizo explosión y se tiró toda la vida por todo allí el barrio.
I guess we were considered like street vendors at the time. Sometimes the police officers would come over.
Llegó la policía y empezó que vendíamos.
And tell us, where's your permit? Are you guys selling food? He said, no, we're having a party.
Les dijeron los clientes, no, aquí no venden nada, aquí es un party.
And all the customer base knew that we were having parties, so they would tell the police, this is a party, come on in.
Gusta, venga para que se eche un platito de birria, mire qué sabrosa está.
My dad would get the money, hide it under the mantle, and there was no money there to be found.
Entró, la policía no quedó contenta con que le dijera nomás así. Se pasó para adentro donde estaba la comida. Pues sí, que era para un party.
Every time the cops came out, it was a party. They had no idea. But the venture grew and grew, and it got so popular that people were literally knocking on our doors to come and eat. During one of those occasions, there was a customer who came by and ate, and he brought in Mexican Coke. And while he was eating, he was drinking his Coke. Other customers saw him drinking the Coke. They said, "Hey, where'd you get that from?" We said, "Wow, that's a great idea." So what my dad did was, back in 1981, 82, he had a 1974 Pontiac Le Mans. He would drive to TJ, buy the soda, bring it back. So now he had the birria, and now they had the drink. So people were literally being taken back. The opportunity came out in 1987. They offered us a restaurant in East Los Angeles on First Street. It was a no-brainer. We had to move forward because, like I said, it was getting too popular. Too many customers were coming in asking for the food. The neighbors started complaining. We would sometimes bring in a goat carcass. They thought they were dead bodies. They would call the cops. Hey, they put a dead body in the house. You might want to take that out, but it's true. True story. The cops came over. They thought we had dead bodies. Anyways, oh man, you guys making me remember all this stuff.
You heard of the term two worlds colliding, right? After claims of being the first to bring birria to the US and never having stepped foot in each other's restaurant, despite only being 5 miles away from each other. Today, yes, today is the day. And to be honest, I've never been so nervous before in my entire life.
Well, I'm hoping he'll like it. That's all I can really hope for. Tradition-wise, something we both have in common, and I feel that he'll like it enough that we can both enjoy each other's food.
When I was a young kid, I would serve the birria to the customers. My dad would yell at me. He says, "What are you doing?" Because I was just wild. I wanted to put stuff together. And he said, "Whenever you're packing up a piece of meat, always assume it's for somebody. You're serving me, your father, you're serving your sister, your brother, your mother. Always imagine that it's for them. You never know who's going to eat that meal and how they're going to enjoy it." We had to think that every meal was for a loved one. So that's what we try to instill to our customers and to our employees, to make sure that when they pack it correct and nice so that the customers can enjoy the meal. This is, as my dad would call it, la miel. This is what gets put on every dish. This is what makes the difference. This is when we compare it with the salsa that you put in a taco. That's what gives it the flavor. Without this, there is no birria. I think they're gonna first think about what theirs tastes like, and then that's gonna be their benchmark for both of us. Something challenging that we're gonna be considering, wow, how can this be better than my dad's cooking, my mom's cooking? My mom is the best cook, my dad's the best cook, so it's gonna be interesting on both sides, I think. This is a neck bone, that's beautiful. If my dad found out that I was gonna go eat at the competitions, I think there'd be two answers. One of them being the younger Chalio would be kind of hesitant. That's your competition, you can't do that. You gotta be loyal to yourself. The Nochistlan in him would come out.
He himself has said to try and other people's birria for the same reason that it's good to know other styles and to compare to what we have.
But I think as he got older, he would embrace it and see it as a benchmark to make sure that we always were able to keep our part or be on our toes, so to speak. Then being our competition puts us on edge, so we can make sure we're always putting out the best product possible. Because if we don't, then someone else will.
All in all, he wouldn't oppose to it. He kind of encouraged us to try different birrias, simply because there's different styles, different versions, and compared to ours, that way we can see where we're at and see what the competition is like.
Why do you think that it's taken us so long to get together and try each other's food?
I think what happened was we went through different a transition period, different eras.
Yeah.
I think we're growing up, our parents were more machistas. It was us against them. Oh, you can't go over there. It's almost like it was taboo.
Right.
And now I think the second generation, even the third or fourth generation now, we're more acceptable of trying different things. You know, well, what's going on? What's different? What's the difference between different vidas? What are they doing? What have they been doing? Because obviously you've been doing something right for the last 40, 50 years. So you've been around and you stood the test of time.
Yeah.
So you're doing something right.
No, and obviously you are too, because obviously your family's been in business for a while too. I mean, for a long time. So I think, like you said, I think now it's a different time, even though we're probably the first generation after our parents. But I think now we're trying to maybe teach,
educate the
or
newer
share
generation,
our experiences with other people about what birria is.
Really is.
I think that when we were younger, we didn't understand what birria was. It was just a meal for us because it was normal every day. I think we would eat. If we didn't sign up, and that was our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday breakfast, lunch, dinner.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
So okay, so then your birria?
Me personally, that's my favorite, the pescuezo. I tell people that when the difference between the birria is that you get different cuts, there are different textures, different profiles. On the costillas, you're probably aware, I can't educate you, but I'm going to tell you what little that I do know. It has a thin membrane. It's unique. Not everybody likes it. Well, there are some people who do. The neck bone, however, is much more different. It's much more tender. I tell people, he's always moving his neck. The goat's always moving his neck. It's always moving his neck. It's real soft.
It has the flavor. It has the flavor.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you. I think that's my favorite part is the neck and the ribs. Those are two of my favorite.
Okay, good. Then I hit right in the hammer. So we're gonna say, oh, this is the best birria you've ever tasted, right?
Yes.
And what did you guys serve me here?
A little bit of ribs, a little bit of the backbone,
espinazo,
and a little bit of the pierna.
That's our most common plate, the surtido.
Oh, you guys call it surtido? We call it the vuelta.
Yeah, we call it surtido. So that's the surtido, which is the mix.
It's the mix. I prefer also like what we have here, like the neck bone and the ribs.
The bone.
I prefer that because I love to eat with my hands. People that don't like to get in there and eat, then really do not know or can enjoy the plate how it's supposed to be. Because people just want meat and then they don't want to, dirty their hands. And to me, it's like
they're missing out on the flavor. Because just like you said, this has the flavor right here.
People say, oh, maciza, we want maciza. You give me bones. I said, that's the best
That's the best part.
So we agree on that. We
Yes, we do.
We got a couple of things we agree on. We agree that bone is the best part. The maciza, if you have to, it's good, but that's not our first choice.
So I'm excited to try.
I don't use lemon, but it's up to you guys. So is this only a birria sauce? Or
yes, it's only for the birria.
Okay.
Each birria restaurant has its own salsa. It's supposed to complement the birria.
Then you put this habanero sauce that we made. You put a few drops. It's very spicy.
And today, it's only fitting that these two families exchange their salsas. Kind of like two soccer players exchanging jerseys as a sign of respect.
That's the only sauce we make here, and that's the only thing we offer.
Like I tell people, when you eat birria, there's no really right way or wrong way of doing it, because some people like to eat it dry and the consomme on the side or sauce on the side. Some people just roll up a tortilla, roll it up, and just dig in there. Some people like to make tacos, so they scoop up their meat and put it in tacos, and then they put all the stuff inside.
I think there is a right way. You gotta use your hands.
I agree.
Well, there you go.
We're gonna let you go first. We're gonna watch your face, her reaction.
Oh my God, the pressure.
And remember, the consomme is where the flavor's at. You ready? Here we go, guys.
It's good.
Okay, here we go.
It's good. Okay. Let me see. Let's try it, guys. I'm gonna put some extra sauce and make it a little juicy so we can taste the consomme.
It's like the secret sauce.
It's like the salsa for the tacos. The salsa, what makes a good taco is the salsa. What makes a good birria is the consomme. Here we go, guys. It's different. It has a different texture, different. It's good. I can see why you've been in business for a while.
Family recipe that's been in the business, in the household for over 100 years. Well, more than that now, because my dad, he passed away already, and he's lived. If he would have been alive now, he would have been over 100 years. So
120.
120 years actually. So it's been a family recipe for quite a few generations. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the original way it's supposed to be served.
Right.
Well, at least that's what we're talking about.
It is.
Right. In Jalisco. But if you go to other regions, other states, they serve it differently. They serve it dry. They serve it in a bowl like a soup. I have a place in Texas, and they don't want it this way.
They want it in a bowl?
They want it in a bowl.
Yeah.
Or they want it dry.
You have to adjust to your clientele.
This is the best part. Look, see that?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All those little nooks and crannies there.
Yes, traditionally, the way we know, you serve birria like this. You know, your carne, your consomme, and it's like this. But yes, people do have their preferences. So then, yes, you have to adjust, or okay, well then I'll give you the consomme on the side. You know, the meat's dry. Or, I mean, yes, we don't have a deep dish bowl, so, I mean, sorry with that, but we can offer more consomme on the side if they want it, you know?
I have a family. There's 2-3 generations of family. I know it's the wife and the husband. When they come in, the wife was upset. She says, what's wrong? She goes, well, I didn't want to come here. And the husband says, why? He finally broke down and told me why. What happened was that the father enjoys Chalios. The wife likes Jalisco, which is her birria. So they would alternate weekends. One weekend they would come to my place, and then another weekend they go to your place. Maybe he came to your place and he was upset because he... Yeah, so that's a funny story. So you get two, like a house divided, you know?
Yeah.
I would have to say that when you look at the birria and I taste it, and it's kind of hard to go against mother's cooking. I mean, I can't say, oh, who's better? I've had birria all my life. I've eaten my birria all my life. To me, that's always been the best. I can't say that. I mean, who can say that their mom's cooking is not good? Everybody enjoys their mom's cooking. So yours is good. I would say it's good. This would be my second option.
Well, that's all fair.
And same here. You know, we grew up eating this all our lives. And again, like you said, once you grow up eating it, that's what you know. And that's what you pretty much compare it to. You compare your birria to everybody else's.
Right.
So, but then again, like you said, we're biased because this is what we've grown up with.
Yeah.
And then we're never going to go against our family upbringings, the way we were taught and the way we ate. When we try something else and we it's good, it's really good, but then you're still biased. You're like, no, you know, I still think ours is still better.
The little subtle,
little things.
Little subtle things, exactly.
My dad didn't have employees. He had us washing dishes, picking up, busting the tables, moving stuff around, filling up the soda station, chopping up tomatoes, limes, not so much onions because that was pretty, you know, you had to know what you were doing because you could cut yourself very easy doing that. But at the end of the day, I appreciate that because when I was a kid, you didn't you didn't see what
you're like, oh, I have to go again.
At the point what you're doing, but then afterward you realize the values he instilled in you and just the pride that you have now. I feel pride now when I do this and you serve and I look back at those days, those difficult days, but now I see it was a lesson.
That's why, but I used to come and push and I used to act like I was asleep. I didn't want to wake up. No, not again. He pushed me again. And I know sometimes he knew I was awake, but he didn't want to push me to go work. I don't know how people do it now when they open a new restaurant because when we opened up, it was all hands on deck. We all worked. We had no employees.
Yeah.
It was us. We didn't get paid. The way we were rewarded.
Well, that's how you contribute.
Me too.
The way we were rewarded is, I'll buy you a hamburger. Just go in the corner and buy a hamburger. I'm like, wow, I'm excited.
Well, I do remember, and if I recall, maybe not more than about 10 years old, 10, 11, around there. And this is according to my father, because, I mean, he can't be here right now to confirm, you know, but from what he told me was your father would go eat with my dad at the restaurant, you know, and, and my father was the type of person that you know, he got along with everybody. All he wanted was for you to leave happy, you know, after you ate to go leave happy. So I do remember him telling me that for a while there, you know, your dad hasn't been coming to come eat at the restaurant anymore. Then when he finally did show up one time, he's like, well, you know, what's going on with me is that I'm thinking of opening my restaurant.
Unbeknownst to me, my dad went to their dad and asked him for his opinion what he thought about him opening a restaurant.
First off, my father and Don Chalio, they good enough friends that he would come eat with my dad and my dad would go eat over there with him. To that point where, you know, they had that relationship. My dad go, oh, that's great, you know, hey, you know, opportunities for everybody.
And he didn't knock him down. He says, try it, go get it. You know, just look at, he didn't say this, but this is what I said. Look at how many stars are there? There's enough room for all of us.
He said, Don Boni, le tengo, that's how you call him. He said, Don Boni, le tengo buenas noticias o malas, depende cómo las vaya a aceptar usted, pero quiero abrir mi birrería, voy a abrir mi birrería. Nomás quiero saber si está bien todo o no haber problemas. Or my dad, the first thing he said is, no, pues el sol brilla para todos. Only advice I do tell you is when you do work, when you open your restaurant, is give it your 110%. You know, because there's no days off. There's no, you can't call in sick. You can't depend on nobody else. It's going to be all you.
He kind of, I won't say motive, but he was a benchmark to say, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. If he did it, you know, we followed suit basically.
Your family has to know that you're in this and you're going to give it your 110%, and your family's going to depend on you now, because basically this is what you're putting all your marbles in moving forward.
Back then in the 70s, as you recall, it was a struggle. I mean, there wasn't too many opportunities. So people looked for a grasp for anything that was any type of inspiration. You know, if you can do it, well, I can do it too. They must have grasped onto a little string of hope. Just say, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. And most of us do that. We tend to gravitate and say, you know what, you can do that, I can do that too. I can do it better. And that's what we have to always aspire to, always be better. And I think what one of the things that we do is having a competition. I don't consider it competition anymore. You know, it's a friendly competition for us because there's always the benchmark. If they catch us slipping, then, you know, someone else can take over and do better. So we're always gonna, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep us on checks and balances.
Yes. Obviously, it's worked out for both restaurants. We're both here. We're giving the clientele, the people, what they want, which is the real birria, the way it should be served.
Like many restaurants, it's a family affair.
Something that I've learned from my grandpa, I'm already gonna cry. Just hearing his story, his origin, how he moved here from Mexico to the United States to fulfill his dream. I think the ultimate thing that I've learned is to never give up on your dreams and perseverance, and how important family and loyalty is. I'm constantly asked if I plan to take over the family business, which was passed on from my grandpa to now to my mom and my uncle. And my answer is yes. It's definitely, you know, to step up to the plate is really nerve-wracking, and I'm scared, but I can't imagine my life without Birria Jalisco and continuing my grandfather's legacy. I can't live in a world without it.
So, I mean, we enjoyed our meal, and of course, you know, I believe that we both have good product, and just like we were talking about, you know, I grew up eating my dad's birria. Did I enjoy your birria, Raúl? Yes, I did. But of course, I'm always gonna say that my dad's recipe is the #1 recipe that I will always, you know, be drawn to, and I will always love and, you know, be passionate about, because I think it's the best birria out there.
That's one strike against me, and it's just two of you, only one of me.
No, it's not a strike.
No, it's not a strike.
I think it's very personal.
It's a good presentation. It's delicious. It has its flavor, its uniqueness. I still think ours is still, you know.
I got my spoon ready, okay? I'm ready to go, guys. I tasted it. It's good. I finished the different. It was different textures. #1 birria, I would say, is Chalio's on First Street. #2 would be Chalio's on Atlantic.
Got it.
#3 would be Chalio's in Texas.
Oh my God!
And then you come real close fourth, tight with Chalio's in Whittier.
Okay.
So, but it's good. I can't go against.
Yeah.
Right? It's his recipe, you know, so many years.
Yeah.
It's good to let people come and try. That way they can say, okay, well, let's find out. Let's go.
I encourage people to come and try both, and they make their own determination.
Yeah. Because it's true. Like let them try both and let them.
I almost guarantee you're gonna choose us, but anyway.
I don't know about you, but all this talk about birria has made me hungry. I'm ready for some birria, but which one should I try? Which one's the best? I'll let you decide. Let's go, buddy.